Hello everyone, welcome to my Talk to Me Tuesday, 3 months later edition. I know I mentioned in my last video that I was going to record one the week after, and well, the last video was in May, and it's almost the end of August, so I'm hoping you'll forgive me. Since I've become a recent addict of the Vlogbrothers video podcasting, which if you haven't seen, you need to go immediately and see it, and I'm not even going to attempt to point to wherever the doobly-doo is, even though I think it's down there, so I lied. I'm actually going to attempt to point and prove just how nerdy and dorky I am. But anyway, this video comes in 3 parts, and I think I can keep it to 3 parts. Okay, part 1 is going to be lace knitting and other knitting. See, I've already screwed up my points. Technically, I suppose it's 4. Anyway, knitting is the first part. Last semester, I attempted to do a rainbow lace shawl for my owl project, for arithmancy runes. I don't even remember. That should tell you about how well it went. Although saying that, it didn't go too badly, because I got quite a bit done. This is it so far. It's totally unblocked and on the needles, and I'd say maybe about halfway done. But as you can see, it's lace. It's got diamonds in it. It's got lots of different color changes. They look a little washed out from on the camera here, but one day I'll learn to go the right direction. Probably not soon. But, you know, it fades all the way from red through to orange and green, and I quite like it, and I'm going to keep plugging away at it. And the most important thing that I learned this semester with this owl project is that lace is not as scary as it looks. Charts are your friend, and lifelines. Put in lifelines. Really, really. I mean, I know everyone tells you this, but really, they mean it. They're serious. Do it. It will save your life. It also helps to take a knitting class where you have an experienced knitting teacher type person who can sit there with you, and when you make this serious mistake and you're like, I've got this yarn over and I don't know where it's supposed to go and I don't know how to fix it, she can go whoop, tink it back, and then show you where you messed up and how to fix it. And hypothetically, you learn from this how to not do it in the future. And I have to say, it's been working pretty well, because, I mean, look how much I knit. Before I started my class, I had that. You know, this lead, and that was it, and I'd ripped it out 5 times. So, very cool. Also, it's awesome to watch this ball of yarn, because it keeps changing colors. When I started, it was just like the red and the orange on the outside, and now I'm getting to see the blues, and the purples, and the green. Very exciting. I'm just, my cats are destroying the world. Hopefully they won't destroy too much. Pretty yarn. Cats. Brief guest starring appearance. Kittens who tried to destroy the world while recording the video. Right there. That's Freya. Freya, say hi to the camera. Freya says, yeah, right, Mom, I'm a cat. I don't do anything you want me to do. And I especially am distracting while you're trying to record videos. But I'm also really cute, and that's why you keep me, and don't feed me to the lions. Because I'm so damn cute. Next part of my tips on knitting lace section is charts. Charts look terrifying to me. Did look terrifying to me. But when I tried reading the block of text that was as long as this page that talked about maybe like 3 rows, I came to realize charts are the way to go. Also, for reading charts, I recommend keeping them nice and safe inside your Ziploc thingy, and I made a photocopy of my pattern so that my actual pattern copy stays nice and clean and untouched. But the photocopies I can write all over, like I've done, not on this page that you can't see. But anyway, I've written all over some of these other parts. Highlighter tape. Best friend ever. Highlighter tape. Bought from Spinning Yarns in Dover, New Hampshire, where you should go for all your knitting needs if you happen to live in Dover or anywhere near around, because they're awesome. Anyway, highlighter tape. You can peel it off, you can stick it back on, you can move it. Every time I do a row, I move this up or down, where I move it up in this. So that tells me what row I'm on, what row I've done, and it makes it a million times easier. So lace can be not as terrifying as you think if you use highlighter tape and charts and you have a knitting class and someone to help you. And it's way cool! So you should all knit lace, because it's cool. Highlighter tape. The next knitting part, which, does that make these subparts? Oh crud. I don't know what subpart I'm on. I'm still in the knitting part. Maybe it's a knitting section. Anyway, next knitting bit is washed out in the light. This is called a 10-stitch blanket. There, you can see it a little bit better, and I can hide behind it. 10-stitch blanket, so called because you only have 10 active stitches at any given time. As you can see up here on the right, I've only 10 stitches on the needle. You start it in the middle, which is right here. You do 10 stitches. You turn a corner with, I think it's short row. I don't know what it's called. You turn a corner. It looks like that. It's not as hard as you would think. Which I'm going to probably tell you just about everything that I'm working on is not as hard as you think, because it's never as hard as I think it's going to be. But maybe that's just me. But anyway, very cool and easy. I don't know if it will actually turn into a blanket, or if I'll stop this at somewhere like and make a bag, or I don't know. At the moment, I'm going to keep going until I run out of yarn maybe, and I have 3 balls. The yarn that I'm using for this, which you can see better there, is really pretty and is Lion Brand Amazing, which was, it's kind of billed in unofficial sources as the faux Noro. It's like the imitation. It's a lot less expensive. It's soft, like you can rub it on your face, do that with Noro, and you are exfoliating. So, but Lion Brand Amazing is pretty amazing. It's an unplied, I don't know if you can see it very well there, but it's unplied single kind of thing, and the colors kind of heather together so they get a really neat blending. And this is in the ruby colorway, so very cool. I like it. If I can get my hands on some more, maybe I will have a great big blanket out of it, because it's pretty soft and it's really pretty. So that's knitting project number 2. Knitting project the next, and knitting project the last that I'm going to show you, is my Acadian shawl, which I was working on forever and ever ago. You can see it has a little lace motif edging along the bottom edge. This is one of the earlier projects that I made with my hand spun, and this is some of my very first hand spun. So it's a little lumpy, a little uneven, which you can kind of see just by the way the light and the texture is, and it's kind of humorous, because funny story goes with this. I started knitting it with some of my early hand spun, figuring I'll knit something fairly simple that, you know, it might not look all that great, because my first hand spun was really lumpy bumpy like everyone's. And so I started at one end, and I knit about to here in the middle, where you can kind of see that line in there. You can't see it in real life. When I hold it up with the light, you can wicked see that, can't you? We're going to pretend you can't see that. I knit to about there, which is not the middle. It's actually, I don't know, 1/3 of the way through, and I ran out of the first ball of hand spun that I had, and I only had 2, and it was my hand spun, so there was never going to be any more of this yarn. There's no swapping on Ravelry for it, because I spun it. So then I kind of freaked out. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm like 1/3 of the way through the pattern, and I have this great big middle section to do before I get to the other side where you decrease. And so I hid it in a bag for a while, which is not uncommon by knitters, I'm told. Yeah, so I hid it. And then I went to my knitting class that I was working on the lace shawl in, and I said, hey, I've got this hand spun shawl, and I've got it like 1/3 of the way done, and I don't know what to do, and I don't want to risk knitting it, and I'm not really great at knitting it and running out of yarn, and I'm not that great at math, so I don't know if I can do the figuring weight, yardage, I don't know. So they suggested what I should do was start at the other end and just kind of flip the pattern. So that way my lace was on this side instead of this side, and you increased here instead of here, and it made a mirror effect. And then so I knit that until I ran out of that hand spun, and then in the middle I took the 2 pieces and I laid them together like so, and I grafted all the way down. Anyway, but I grafted it, and it looks pretty dang awesome, and it's a complete shawl, and I've worn it once already this year because we had 2 really cold and rainy days. So I wore my knitwear to work, and that was really exciting for me. So, ta-da! Early hand spun shawl, lace. I'm rocking it. Yes. Now we're going to move on into part 2 of the video, which is the spinning section. And I have looked at the little clips that I've been recording so far, because like I said, I've watched too many Vlogbrothers videos, and now I realize that I could probably record mine in clips and like put them together, and then I wouldn't have to get it all in one take, and this is insanely liberating and a little confusing for me. And I realized that my first half of my video is about 9.5 minutes already, and how does it that I'm the only one? Oh, okay, never mind. Don't answer that. I know why I'm the only one that records 10-minute Talk to Me Tuesday videos. It's because I'm the only one that regularly doesn't record videos for 3 months at a time, so don't be sorry for me, because that one's all my fault. And now this is 39 seconds, so I'm going to have to trim a couple of seconds somewhere else, which is good because I flail a lot, I think. Oh god, I'm doing the Hank Green hands. I'm going to stop this video now, and we're going to move on to part 2, in which I will hopefully flail less and talk about spinning.